Because I said so. Because I said so. Because I said so. Because I said so. Because I said so.
Hey everyone, and welcome back to the Biz Podcast, where we take those classic mom sayings and turn them into today's best conversations. I'm the daughter, Nicole.
And I'm her mother, Lakeisha, here to make sure she remembers where she got all of her wisdom.
All right. Well, guys, Happy New Year. We missed you guys so much.
Absolutely.
This week's theme is, Mom, I'm thinking about having sex.
Yeah, in this week's theme, we are diving into one of the most toughest, most important conversations a parent can have. Mom, I'm thinking about having sex. Lord. We'll be discussing how to approach this sensitive topic, understanding emotional and physical readiness, and creating an open, honest dialogue about intimacy while maintaining trust and respect.
Yes, ma'am, because there's always a reason behind every because I said so.
That's right. And as per usual, every parent, every teen, every family is different. What works for one may not work for another one, and that is totally okay. I am sharing my experience as a mom, but I don't have all the answers. Parenting is a journey, and we are all learning as we go. So take what resonates, leave what does not, and trust your instinct. You know your child best, and this is just one mom's advice because I said so.
Exactly, Mom. And again, guys, we want to just remind you guys to please like, comment, and subscribe. Also, make sure you're following us on all platforms at The Biz Podcast. That is the BISS Podcast. And now it's time for my favorite part. Please, guys, grab your snack
or tea, and let's dive in.
Because sometimes the best talks come with a little bit of motherly love. Enjoy the episode, guys. All right, guys, welcome back. In this episode, we are titling this The Power of Boundaries. Remember, our episode theme for the entire week is, Mom, I'm thinking about having sex. So, Mom, let's go into our segment. I really want to know, what are the biggest challenges when it comes to setting boundaries with teens? And, how can parents overcome that?
So when you're saying setting boundaries, are we talking about as far as getting in the teen's business?
Yeah, I mean, and setting boundaries as far as when they are ready to have sex and they kind of or not even ready to have sex, but just ready to be in committed relationships and be more lovey-dovey, more
okay.
Yeah,
okay. I get what you're saying. So I would say
having them come over,
Yeah. So I wasn't a big fan of company of the opposite sex. Now, this is before I realized that, there was some, bi-curious, bisexual, whatever experiences or relationships occurring. So I will put that point out there. So that was a boundary of mine, and you understood why that was a boundary of mine. But again, the other part I didn't know. So that one had got past me for a minute. And so initially I didn't know. Eventually I did learn.
Did you learn because I told you? Did you learn because of you being observant?
I learned because you told me.
Thank you. Clock it. Sorry,
okay. So, so I would say, as a parent, I think you have to lay down your boundaries, period. Just even if the teen is not going to agree or if it's difficult for them to adhere to it, because without the boundary, there are no safeguards, right? So they don't necessarily know if they're stepping out of a line of some sort. And your rules are your rules, and they're there for a reason. And our goal is to keep our child safe. So yes, I would say they couldn't have a company of the opposite sex. Another boundary was, the whole puppy love thing, I think I didn't so mind. I just, oh gosh. I mean, a lot of my things was just that I needed to understand where it is she was. I expected her to be open in communication, and I talked to her about what I desired, But I also told her to talk to me if she is still feeling a particular way. So, for instance, when she was talking about sex, and let's say we were talking about the toys initially, I advised that she not explore the toy situation because the effects of exploring with toys, especially so early on, could lead to other things, for like an addiction,
Or being like desensitized, things of that nature.
right, being desensitized and not actually ever being able to be pleasured that way by a man, or or a woman, I guess in this case. But I was particularly talking about a man, and so those things I kind of told her that, to think about it, let me know if you're still feeling this way. Hormones kind of come and go. So I was hoping it was something that just passed. But we had multiple discussions about that. So, and did we end up, did you ever, while you were in high school, did we do a toy eventually?
Yes. I was probably closer though to maybe 16, maybe 16, maybe even 17. But yes, we did.
In hindsight now, in regards to anything that I said, do you agree or disagree with the point I took at that time?
Girl, I do agree. Especially with the people being able to pleasure you, and the decent blah, blah, blah. Sorry, with people being able to pleasure you, and with the people, like, not even with the people, but with you becoming desensitized in a way, especially with something stronger like a vibrator or something. Like, no man could do that. Like, it's like, it's not human. So of course, I think that when it comes to you having partners, though, this is for all my ladies, I don't think that it fully messes that up. I think that they truly have to be willing to learn you for you to be able to get to the finish line. But I don't think that you having a toy fully takes it away. I still am like pro toy, or like pro exploring what you like, because I realized that when I was getting, I guess, like, into, that point where I was like about to have sex, like, I really hadn't explored for real. And so when, they were asking what I like, what I don't like, it was very much like, oh, I don't know yet. Like, I don't really know. You can do your thing. I could say yes or no. I could say it's feeling good, it's not feeling as good. So, I mean, yeah, I feel like women, in a sense, they kind of like, they don't need that, but it's good for women to know what they like and what they don't like, so that
I
they
would
can
agree.
communicate
It
that
is.
to somebody.
It's important. It's important. And a lot of times, too, I think the issue that arises, especially having sex young, a lot of times is that, and I mean, it can happen older too, but when you're not in a committed relationship where someone cares, sometimes they don't care if you are getting pleasure as a female either. So, there's that aspect as well, why it's not something I would encourage at a young age.
Yeah, definitely not at a young age. Honestly, you really could wait till you about 17. I guess maybe even
Married.
16 to have a toy.
Oh, well, I mean, I don't know. That's you probably doubled my life before I even explored that situation. So,
But you, again, you
you
came from
can
a different
definitely survive.
background. Like,
Well, that's true. That's true. That is true.
Nana was. I know my Nana. I don't know that Nana was a little different than how you are as a parent. But I think
It
that's
just
important,
it was
because
it's
honestly,
also
mom,
exposure though, Denim, too, because again, you have seen it. I didn't even know for a long time that was even a thing.
I could understand that. I just think
Yeah.
that if I didn't go that route, I just didn't want to be one of those girls who was with little boys just to get that pleasure out. Like, that's what I don't want to say a lot of girls, but a lot of girls were doing that, like middle school, high
Oh
school.
wow.
Like, I didn't really, as far as like exploring with men or boys at that point, being sexual with them, I really hadn't been sexual with a male. Yeah, like I wanted to like voluntarily till like I was 17.
And I just want to say this for parents and moms who are thinking, yeah, not my child. Yes, your child, honey. I've had conversations, and you would be surprised, of your child when at home and your child away. So don't think that it's not possible, no matter how you raise that child.
Yeah, and I too just want to speak on like as far as like things like I know we can't say the word, but like I rhyme with corn sites and things like that. Just don't get into the loophole. Don't get too deep into it. Like, I've seen people, get addicted and then they have different like expectations on, what it's supposed to be, and it's almost like they're not really like in real life. Like they want it to be like they want you to be like Tiana Trump. You know what I'm saying? And it's you. I know, no. And mom, you'll know what that is, but you don't want to know. You don't. Yeah, you don't want to know. But it's just it. Man, like men, like when they do that and they have these unrealistic expectations on somebody so young, it kind of could hurt the brain a little bit and even like hurt you emotionally. So don't get too into the corn. It's for my men and for my women. And yeah, it's okay that it's not what it looks like on the movies. It's okay. Like it's a different experience, but I do think that when you are married, it is probably way more enjoyable because it's somebody that at that point you've made a bond with
And
spiritually,
that you trust,
and
like
that
you
you
said,
trust,
you
and that you're
trust, that you feel
comfortable
safe
with.
with. Yeah.
And yeah, I think it's better that way. I wanted to follow up though. How do you know when it's time to set a boundary, mom? And how do you communicate, or how did you at least communicate with us without like feeling like you were being like overbearing? Yeah.
It happened for all parents per se in totality. So, I knew the possibilities of what was out there. So I just wanted to leave it open for you all to discuss it. And then, regardless of how I felt, I still wanted you all to tell me how you were feeling in those moments. So I
I
would just
have
say,
a
go
Go ahead,
ahead.
go ahead. I
I
was
was going
gonna
to say, I would
say
say communication.
I was gonna, because I know it's different between like boys and girls. There's double standards, et cetera, et cetera. You have one boy and you have two girls. So like, was it different when if Neil came up to you asking you anything, or if he wanted a girl over versus when we did, or like?
No, the rules were the same. Nobody of the opposite sex you can be over, like, and you can be alone with them, that sort of thing. Um, but I don't know. Did Neil ever have this discussion with me? I mean, he wasn't one like, he wasn't a boy. You know what I'm saying? So
Mhm.
it's just like,
Oh.
it kind of came a little bit later, and he was like the whole like he was more like a one girl type of a boy.
Mhm.
Um, but it wasn't a discussion that came up. I mean, I probably brought up a couple of times, and I had at a certain point got him like a male mentor too,
Mhm.
to discuss certain things with him. But yeah, in some way, I think they should have an outlet of someone to talk to about these things.
Got you. Got you. Yeah, I do. I don't think you were overbearing. I think you were absolutely perfect. And then I think again, not having the boys over was very helpful because, like I said in one of our last episodes, I wasn't, super sad in rooms when, when I broke up with somebody or they broke up with me or it didn't work out. Like I wasn't super sad and like moping all around the house. That was absolutely fine with me. And you did set boundaries, as far as your expectations. And then, but I will say that the challenge is when teens are becoming young adult, like that switch, and then it's like yes, it is y'all house, but it's also their house. And, you know, they want to start exploring sexually, but, you know, now they kind of got to sneak and do it, or now they're doing it. And I've heard some crazy stories about people doing it in their parents' bed. I never got that. Like, I always thought that was so disrespectful. Like, why not just do it in your room? But I don't know. I think like that's when it goes like too far. Like parents, so all the ones that, you know, your kids did on your bed, man, prayers to you. I don't even know how you did it. And to the kids that did it, y'all are crazy.
And I'm going to say this, you know, like, no matter how you guys feel, it's not your house. It is your parents' house.
No, that's a fact, though. It's a fact.
Let's be clear on that one, okay? So that right.
Who sends the invoices and stuff?
Exactly.
Who pays the invoices?
So yeah, it is your parents' house, and you should respect that. And I think as you get older and you have your own space, you'll understand more about that. But believe you me, now it's your parents' house, and you should respect that space. And it doesn't mean, oh, okay, I'm just gonna go do it elsewhere. No, I'm still saying you should think about whether that's the move you need to make. But the other point is, don't just think like, it's my crib too, you know, so I should be able to, if I'm going to have it here or whatever. Like, that's not cool either, you know, so.
Yeah. And I will say, like, it's so, not to be like this, Mom, but it's, having sex is way better to have outside of your parents' home. Like,
Can I close my ears? Can I close my ears right now?
Not like that, but just in a sense where it's your own space. You don't feel like you disrespecting somebody. Like, I always had like a guilty conscience. Like, I was not a bad kid. So when things like that like were thought of or like occurred, like I would always feel guilty and I couldn't even fully enjoy the experience. So hey.
Let me bring up another point though in regards to the disrespect part. I just want you guys to know this, and parents, let me know if you agree. Anytime a kid does something that the parent says that they should not do, it is viewed as being disrespectful. I'm gonna put that point out there. Parents, let me know if you agree with that, because, you know, we can tiptoe around this whole thing, and yes, you're gonna make decisions, but anytime that's happening, yeah, that's how it's viewed as a parent. It's just like, okay, then it becomes, okay, so this is where you're at, and this is a decision you're gonna make. Well, this is now then how this needs to occur, or this can occur this way. It becomes the next part after that. But it's not like we're like, once you start having it, like, okay, it's cool, go have it. Like, that's never like the stance. So
No, that's true. That's true.
So don't misinterpret. It's like, again, once you have kids of your own, you'll totally get it. It's like, I mean, think about your little cousin.
I can't.
Exactly. You see what I'm saying? You see what I'm saying?
I do. I do want to wrap this segment up, though, with this last question, Mom. What if a teen is in a relationship and they feel pressure to do things that they're not fully comfortable with, like, you know, like pictures or sex in general? And how do they say no without feeling like they're letting their significant other down?
That's other is not significant if they're being let down. Again,
okay.
That other is not significant if they are being let down.
Mark it.
Mark it.
Yes, that's good, Mom.
Yeah,
that's
you just
really
have to
good.
say it. Like, if that's the case, you're not in a safe, trusting relationship. If you can't say these things and they're going to make you feel some kind of way about how you feel about it, like, if it's something that they have to have, then they need to explore another relationship. That's not where you are. And you have to be okay with that. Like, you can't just do it just to keep someone, because that's not going to keep them. That's only going to satisfy a temporary moment.
Exactly.
You know, it's only going to satisfy a temporary a temporary desire. And I can't even say a need, a temporary desire. Yeah. And then it becomes like, you know, sometimes it can be, well, many times it's on to the next one. So stand your ground. If you are uncomfortable with something, what they say, if you see something, say something. So if you don't like it, speak up. And I mean, those are some of the beginning times of you standing up for yourself.
Yeah.
Because definitely you don't want to live with the regret of a decision that you could have made.
Yeah, and on this podcast we're very vulnerable, very transparent, and we're human. So like I'm human enough to say that I've done that before. I've done things. 'Cause I feel like I was mom. What do you say when you're trying to like just pleasure other people's feelings, but not really like your own, like a people
Pleaser. Yeah.
people pleaser. That's really who I was and what I'm trying to still get over at 21 years old. You know what I'm saying? And I was
Believe
talking
me,
to
I think for
somebody-
many women, it's gone even further into life, but definitely at that age, yeah, I get it.
Yeah, I would say for all my girlies, I just have a few points that I'm gonna just make really quickly. One, blue balls, even though it quote unquote hurts them, that's not your problem. That is their problem. It's not your problem. It is not your fault. Okay? It's not your fault. You don't have to handle anything with that. Point two, do not send nudes. I know that they, like, oh, well, whatever. They say anything sweet to make you want to send it or whatever, but don't do that. I have heard horror stories about people that have shared nudes with somebody that they trusted, and that person took those nudes and airdropped them or sent them and showed the homie and laughed about it and this, that, and the third. Especially after a breakup, and even when you're together, they will share their with their homies, like, look what I got, da 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 da, and to give them cool points. And really, fellas, to all y'all, that's you get no cool points for that. You're not cool. It's not P. And my third point is, don't pleasure yourself with somebody on the phone. They can screen record. Y'all, Apple is really advanced nowadays. They can screen record. They can screenshot. They can put it up anywhere. Same thing with the other things. They can send it to anybody. And again, I'm human. Like I'm not gonna sit here and say that I haven't done those things. I'm telling y'all so that y'all don't do it. You know what I'm saying? Like, learn from my mistakes. You know what I'm saying? And I did that to try to, again, please somebody because I thought I loved somebody and really I love that person and I thought that they loved me. So like, those things don't equivalent to that. And if he's really the one, he's never gonna make you feel forced, or he's not gonna make you feel bad for not doing any of those things, not handling his blue balls, not sending him nudes, and for sure not doing something with him on the phone. Like, do not take the manipulation for anything else but that. It is just manipulation, just like the snake in the garden, since we talked about the garden in the last episode. Okay, that's the end of the segment.
All right. Great segment. All right. So now we are entering into our second segment. What would you do? So in this segment, I am going to read our scenario. Denim, you are going to tell me what it is you would do. We're going to share. And as per usual, once I share this, we also like to hear from our audience. We like for you to tell us your stories. Tell us if this has ever happened to you and how you would handle it. Okay?
Yes.
Scenario. What would you do if you walked in and your teen is having sex in your house after telling them you didn't want them to have sex in your house?
Ooh. Wee! Well, let me just first say that that's never happened in mom's house. Amen. Thank God. Great. Now, if this was me with my kids, Jesus. Well, I would have to call on him for strength because y'all, what do you do? Because I'm real player. Like, I'm very much like, I want to be like an understanding parent, but like if I ask you not to do it and you're doing it, that's crazy. So I will walk in. Dang, I walk in. You can't throw nothing. No, you can't do that.
Yes, you can.
You can? Okay, now I would do that. I would just go put some clothes on. Young lady, I will take you home. You come with me. I will talk to the young lady's mother. Let her know what her daughter was doing at my house. And then talk to my son. My son's never having company over. I'm going to have Ring cameras all throughout the house.
Nobody said it was a boy. Nobody said it was a boy. So, that's if it was a boy. What if it was a girl?
Ring cameras all around the house. For real. Ring camera, ring camera. Nah, but seriously, I'm taking the phone away. You can't go nowhere. You're grounded. Straight up. You're grounded. And it's not even because of the action itself. It's really because you disrespected me and I asked you not to do it. It's more so that part. And then you wasn't even smooth enough. You wasn't even thinking about me coming home. You know I come home from work at 3:00.
So
Why are you still here at 2:45?
So you would have understood if I had to get in that.
Yes.
Okay.
I would have, because I get it, especially now that I'm older. But now that I have my own home, my own space, it's like, oh yeah, no. When I ask somebody to not do something or to do something in my home and then they deliberately do it,
That part.
I get that, Ma. Like,
Yeah.
seriously, I apologize. Because, hello?
Yeah.
Who do you think you are? So that's what I would do. What about you, Mom? Because it never happened to you. So go
It
ahead and
never
share your
happened.
inner,
Yeah, I mean, basically, yeah, what you just did, that's pretty much how it would be. It would be it'd been like, on that movie This Christmas when her husband, when he was cheating and he was trying to get out out the shower and she was, pow! It'd be some, yeah. And I kind of always have a delay response. So it would have been definitely something slick. Definitely it'd be a get out, but it would be definitely something after the fact. Very something slick that I would let you sit in it for a minute and wonder what I was going to do before I acted.
I hope I can have your level of calm by the time I have kids. Cause I just can't. I just feel like I would throw something. I just
That's probably the first reaction, but it's not over after the throw something. It ain't like I throw something and then I'm done with it. Like that's something that's lingered. That would anger me, man. First, that's some extended anger right there.
Yeah, it's just more like if I hadn't put that boundary down, I could see how the kid could be slicking. Oh, Mom, I didn't know. But the fact that you did know, it's a problem. So
yes, problematic. Yeah, absolutely.
That's definitely that for that. What would you do?
Okay. Absolutely. So again, that wraps up segment 2. We would love to hear your stories. Has this ever happened to you? What did you do? Or if it did happen to you, if it did, what would you do? So has it happened and what would you do? And
Did
or
you
if
throw
it did,
the shoe?
yeah.
Did you throw a shoe?
Right. Did you toss somebody out the house with the pants down? How did this go down? I want to hear it.
Yeah.
Let me know. Feel free to send in a video testimony of that one.
All right, we're gonna go into our wrap up question. Mom, what's one boundary that you set in your relationship with your children that you feel has helped strengthen your trust with each other?
Boundary, I would say, I don't know that I've set multiple boundaries. Let me say that I've set multiple boundaries, but I think that the thing that's kind of helped everything stick has been communication and me being willing to listen. And they say don't negotiate with terrorists or whatever, but I probably have done a little bit of negotiating with you guys throughout your life, because I was, I was open to taking in your input as well. And I, as much as I could, wanted to keep you safe, and I wanted us to establish trust both ways. So at least like me knowing what you would do, you knowing what I didn't want you to do, and you putting those efforts in, that was important to me. And the fact that we had such a good bond that at least when I put a boundary up, even if you broke the boundary, you felt convicted, and that was important to me. It's like one thing if you guys are breaking the rules and you could care less, but the fact that when you did that, you felt bad about it and that sort of thing, it's not like something that was repetitive. That, to me, that's helped.
Yeah, I would say the whole no boy, or eventually I guess was no girl, like no significant other over at the house, and really, and that was her rule until I was 18, and it really helped me build like trust with my mom and like strength, because like we just had so many like conversations about everything, and my home was really a safe space for me, and honestly it was a safe space for a lot of my friends too. Not that they can come over and do whatever they wanted, but that they can come over and talk to my mom about things and ask her questions, like just having that safe space to where I could go home at any point and I knew that they hadn't been there, and I could just like fully breathe and like debrief. Or two, like when I'm home and like the boys like, oh no, like let me come over, and I'm like, no, like my mama said, like no boys over. Like that really helped me too, like make like save
A
me
quick
from
decision.
making a lot of quick and bad decisions
Mm-hmm.
with people that had no business being in my home, with energies and spirits that had no business being in our home. So yeah, that definitely made us stronger. She just, man, like this is my best friend, like and even at times where I did, like she said, like I did disrespect her, by like not abiding by a rule, or like, you know, trying to stick somebody in there when, you know, she probably, if I had called and asked, it probably would have been a no. But like, you know, bringing them over still, me feeling really bad and guilty really helped me too, because I kind of carried that with me like up until now, like as like who I am, and knowing like that she was really just trying to have me understand that my body is a temple, and, you know, realize who I am. Not to be, you know, like bratty or not humble with it, but, you know, I know who I am at this point. And I know that a lot of them people just did not deserve my energy and time. So, yeah, she made me a bad, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, well, yeah. So that was a goal, and I'm glad that while I didn't necessarily see them as boundaries, you recognize them as such.
Yeah.
To me, they were just things that I knew that would keep you safe emotionally and physically, and as well as your siblings as well, or anybody who entered that house too. So even your friends that came over, like everybody was hopefully they felt like safe and in a space where they could, you know, trust me and the environment, and
their
parents as
could
well
too. Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
They're very much so. So, yeah, that's the end of that.
Okay.
So.
And that's it for today's episode. We hope you found something that resonates with you. As a mom, my biggest advice is always to trust your instinct, because no one knows your child like you do.
Exactly. And you guys, don't be afraid to have those tough conversations. Look, here at the Biz Podcast, we may not have all the answers, but learning together is what makes us so much stronger.
Yes, and please remember that parenting is absolutely a journey. Keep the communication open. Always trust yourself. And if you enjoyed this episode, hit subscribe, like, and leave us a comment.
Yes, and don't forget to share this with a friend or a mommy that you may know. And follow us again on all platforms at the BISS Podcast. We post here every week, guys, so make sure that you hit the notification bell so you are the first to know when we post.
Absolutely. Make sure you tune in every Wednesday for a new topic. And if your child wants to question your parenting, tell them,
This,
please. And we'll see you next week.
Bye, guys.